Neha had always considered herself a rational person who trusted logic more than emotions. Living alone never bothered her, and the old apartment she rented near the abandoned side of the city felt peaceful to her, not scary. People talked about strange noises and shadows in that area, but Neha dismissed those stories as rumors meant to scare the weak. One quiet evening, after returning home late, she noticed something unusual. The moment she stepped inside, a sudden coldness wrapped around her skin, sending a shiver down her spine. The windows were closed, yet the air felt alive, heavy, as if someone invisible had just passed by her. Trying to ignore the feeling, Neha prepared for bed. As she turned off the lights, she sensed movement behind her. When she looked back, the room was empty, but the silence felt unnatural. That night, her sleep was restless. In her dream, she found herself standing in the same room, but it was darker, colder. A tall shadow slowly formed near the corner, its shape unclear but powerful. Its eyes glowed faintly, fixed on her. Strangely, Neha didn't feel fear. Instead, she felt a deep sense of familiarity, as if she had known this presence forever. The shadow spoke softly, calling her name with a tenderness that made her heart race. He said he had been watching her for a long time, waiting for the right moment to reveal himself. When Neha tried to move closer, she suddenly woke up, gasping for air. Her body felt heavy, frozen, and she realized she couldn't move or scream. A gentle voice whispered in her ear, telling her to relax, promising no harm. Moments later, the paralysis faded, leaving Neha trembling under her blanket. From that night onward, strange things became part of her daily life. Objects shifted on their own. Mirrors reflected movements she hadn't made, and whispers filled the apartment after midnight. Yet Neha was never hurt. Whenever fear crept into her heart, a calming warmth surrounded her, easing her anxiety. Slowly, her fear turned into curiosity. One night, gathering courage, she spoke into the darkness, asking who was there. The answer came clearly, deep and steady. The presence introduced himself as a jinn, an ancient being tied to the land long before humans arrived. He told Neha he had grown attached to her soul, her loneliness calling out to him. Though her mind warned her to stay away, her heart felt drawn to his voice. Without realizing it, Neha stood at the edge of a bond that would soon change her life forever. And her nights felt more real than the world outside. The jinn's presence was constant now, no longer limited to whispers or shadows. His voice followed her through the apartment, soft and protective, filling the silence that once made her lonely. He told her he watched over her while she slept, and guarded her from unseen dangers. At first, Neha felt comforted, believing she was no longer alone. She stopped going out after sunset, and avoided her friends, feeling they would never understand what she was experiencing. The jinn often spoke about love, describing it as a bond that connected souls beyond time and space. He claimed that his feelings for Neha were pure, stronger than human emotions. Slowly, his words began to influence her thoughts. Whenever she tried to step outside or make plans with others, an uneasy fear settled in her chest. The world beyond her apartment started to feel cold and hostile, while the darkness inside felt safe and familiar. Soon, strange marks appeared on Neha's arms and shoulders, faint at first, then darker, shaped like burned symbols. She tried to cover them, telling herself they were stress marks or allergies, but deep down she knew the truth. Her strength weakened, and her reflection in the mirror often looked tired and hollow. In her dreams, the jinn no longer appeared as a shadow. He stood before her in a terrifying form, tall and powerful, his eyes glowing with an intense, possessive light. He told her their souls were now connected and separation was impossible. Fear finally replaced comfort when Neha realized she could no longer hear her own thoughts without his voice interrupting. He became jealous, angry whenever she thought about other people. Desperate, Neha searched for help and finally visited a spiritual healer. The healer listened carefully and warned her that the jinn's love was dangerous, a dark attachment that would slowly drain her life force. Breaking the bond would be painful, but it was the only way to survive. That night, prayers filled Neha's apartment as the healer began the ritual. The temperature dropped suddenly, and the walls shook violently. The Jinn screamed in rage, his voice echoing with heartbreak and fury, begging Neha not to abandon him. Tears streamed down her face as she gathered her courage and chose her own life. With a final, terrifying cry, the presence vanished, leaving behind a deep, heavy silence. When Neha woke the next morning, the apartment felt normal again, but somewhere deep in her heart, a faint whisper still lingered, reminding her that some dark loves never truly fade.